And so if somebody is buying flowers once every 6 months, the chances are that they might purchase from us and they maybe found us by Googling best flower shop in X, Y, or Z city. And we showed up number one because we've invested in like search engine optimization, all that stuff. And they order and maybe they even have an amazing experience with us, but like 6 months go by and they're like, I forget who I ordered flowers from. And they might just go on Google and go to another flower shop. The switching cost, and if you own a pizza shop or if you own a I don't know, anything out there, like the switching cost from a consumer perspective, there's so many alternatives out there that you really do have to make like a really special mark on them in a meaningful way that cuts through the noise. So like getting down, I think it's typically only the founder that can sit down and do that kind of creative thinking of like, what are the things that can bring this experience to an 11 out of 10? There's only one person in the company that's going to care as much as you do, and it's you. So I think that is the founder's responsibility to come up with those types of initiatives. But we're trying to push it one step further, and I will say that, David, I don't know if you buy your mother flowers on Mother's Day.
Of course.
Good. But push back if you think, I'm wrong here, and I'm more than welcome to hear any pushback. But I might argue that Mother's Day, as beautiful as a holiday as it is, it's kind of like, it feels like it's an obligation to give your mother flowers or some sort of recognition, to show her love in that way. And flowers are the best way to show love. But it does, obligatory. And I might go so far as to argue that if you were to buy your mom flowers on any other day besides Mother's Day, that actually might hold more weight than
Definitely
buying it for the Hallmark holiday.
Definitely.
So we're trying to, I think it's a difficult thing, and we're cautiously optimistic in our ability to do this. But once we have somebody in our ecosystem, there's a lot of tapping into what they already know to be true. We're not trying to shift their behavior. They already know that flowers are a beautiful thing. I mean, the amount of effort that the industry goes through to get flowers from Ecuador or Colombia and Thailand and Mexico and Canada and some local farms in the US, and some like orchids take 7 years to grow. Wow. And then they go from a farm to a processor to a consolidator to the wholesaler to the retailer and finally to the consumer. Like that is an unbelievable amount of work to get a product to you that's only going to last for 7 to 10 days. I think people know that flowers are special. Otherwise, we wouldn't be going through that amount of work. Yeah. And so we're reminding folks that like just because and for no reason at all are actually the most meaningful moments to. So like we don't accept that the industry averages flowers. People buy flowers 2.2 times per year. On the retention side, yeah, we're doing a lot of work to really try to like inspire people to use flowers as the medium to show love. And I think Americans view flowers as like a luxury too much, and we don't view it that way. So it's a lot of like on the client retention side, motivating, inspiring, educating.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is our opinion. And I think that not everybody might not agree with that, but for the folks that do, hopefully they'll purchase with us more.
And I loved how you started our show tonight, because whenever we were just talking about the name and how you got started, you mentioned it in there as well, that French Florist is about, it should be an everyday type of thing. It's a part of life. And that has stuck with me this 30 minutes that we've been talking, because I love that thought that it's just part of everything. It's part of the dinner. It's part of every day. Because I think you're right. If it comes to Valentine's Day or Mother's Day, what happens? That's why there's, you see the memes on social media of the husband showing up to a sit-go at 1 a.m. to buy chocolates and flowers because he forgot about it. But now he feels the obligation, I have to go do it. And it shouldn't feel like that. It should feel like they're blooming and they're beautiful, and they should just be a part of when you sit outside to have dinner in the evenings on a Tuesday that is not a holiday. It's just a random Tuesday during the week. So I love just kind of how you peppered that in there. And I think that's a side on the brand piece that I would kind of lean into. I mean, like I said, that has stuck with me for the last 30 minutes that we've been talking.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because that really is like going back to the creative piece of marketing as opposed to like the performance side. Like the performance side, we have digital agencies and people that are like, run a 20% off code. And like, we're like, no, we're just, or, we have the best quality. We have the best customer service. And like, yeah, I think we do have all of that. But like for a good company, that's table stakes. That's the norm. And so you have to tap into that like emotional creative piece in order to like kind of get that leverage to the next level there.
I was talking to somebody this afternoon about Simon Sinek, the brand marketing author, has the book Start With Why. Yes. It's very easy to go through, but it's one of my favorites. And I feel like most companies don't do the exercise, and it shows. Everybody starts with, just like you said, 20% off coupon. We're the best. We have these. We wrap it in this certain thing. It's all about the details that may or may not be anything that I care about. Yeah. What you should start with is that why piece, which you alluded to when we first started talking. And then you get down the road. And if If you want to learn more, you absolutely can, but we're going to start with why we exist and why we think that this will be something that you'll like as well. And again, most companies don't. They try to take the easy route and they go detail feature heavy as opposed to why you should care, why you should buy this, why you should come back and be a repeat customer.
Yeah, 1,000%. And like what we found too is for myself and also the other, like obviously I have the privilege of sitting here and chatting with you and kind of, I suppose, being the face of the company. The reality is we have a incredible team that, like I said, I've kind of worked myself out of a job. I mean, not really, I work hard, but there are folks that are running the company that are doing a better job than I have even done and at this point. And so there's a wonderful team behind us. But I will say, like when we interview and when I interview, I always start with their why. And I do sit in on every single interview that when we hire, even the drivers and designers and shop assistants, doesn't matter the position. A lot of the times they'll take the candidates through their direct report will take them through the interview, 80-90% of the way. But when I sit down with them, it's a really fun opportunity because I have trust in our folks to be like, okay, like they've interviewed this person. They think this person has the chops to get the job done fundamentally and tactically and like logically. Mm-hmm. Now I get to sit down with this person and have like the real conversation is like, what are your dreams? What fires you up? Because like if I can't feed their fire and their belly, they're going to leave just like I left my corporate consulting job and I'm not going to help them. And I think you have to start there too. So especially when you're like sourcing talent and kind of expanding the team, I think that making sure that your values and principles and your why, like you've done all that work so you can ask other people what their purpose and mission and values and why is. And like, if there's a lot of overlap there, it's probably going to be a lot of, a fruitful relationship.
You got it. It makes everything so much easier, hiring, all of that aspect, because like you said, then you can find people who want to help you get on the rocket ship with you. And they're like, look, I don't know where we're going, but I'm excited to be on here and let's do it. As opposed to somebody that just says, yeah, I saw an ad for a job and I need to pay rent next month. Totally. That's a different story, I mean, it's just all of it's different.